with Eddie Trunk on SiriusXm's Volume.
All right, we are back. We are live, and the gang is here. And my goodness.
Do you really have to start it with that? Youth Gone Wild.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. You brought it up. I didn't bring that up.
Moving on.
I did not even think that. Holy
Swedish
shit.
American Idol. Let's go.
I didn't even think that.
Beat yourself blind. How about that? Is that okay with
we're
you?
here and we're ready to beat ourselves blind, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I didn't even put that together. What a way to start.
Sure you didn't.
I did not.
You're getting a couple bucks up the back end. I know how the music industry works.
He's already working. He's already
Doc
starting.
McGee was my manager.
We're 30
right?
seconds in, and it's off the rails.
You want to talk about Doc back in the 80s? Okay, never mind.
Sebastian Bach is here, ladies and gentlemen. In case you haven't figured that out yet. And also joining us as the punctual one, BRENT FITZ. We will reintroduce him.
Always.
And Todd Kerns has arrived as well.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned before on the air, I've done the Fitz, Kerns, and myself, we've done the Canadian Mayhem many times in the past, and then recently you both did a show from here in Vegas.
We got
me.
a lot of heat from Mr. Bach.
And then Bach confronted you.
Really?
We dropped,
we're talking about heat?
We dropped
Is
the
that
Max
what we're
Webster
talking about,
ball.
heat?
Well, he confronted you backstage.
Is it Swedish rock day?
Oh, again, I didn't realize this.
Oh, he's bringing the heat.
No, I didn't realize this.
Bringing the heat.
Okay, I didn't
He's
get
bringing the heat. The gang's all here. Let's talk about Canada. Oh, my God. Why do
I didn't even realize what you can't say it.
God.
Can't say anything around here.
Anyway,
Okay, can I just
gaslit.
say
behind Vamped, you guys had a confrontation.
That's where we hang out, is behind the vamp.
Sebastian, what band did you go up to Todd behind Vamped at and say he blew it that he didn't mention?
Well, to Max Webster.
Yeah, of course.
But
I
just want to say that I'm trying to figure this out. We're going to go live on my Facebook, but my cameras are... Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you want to go on there and watch this, I will...
Are you going to set us up?
This up. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
good.
on live. But anyway...
We are doing a live radio show, dude.
Anyways, let me preface this by saying that Todd doesn't drink alcohol.
So I have no excuse?
But Sebastian does. So when we're very late at
Angle
night
that more.
in the parking lot.
Yes.
Angle that more, Eddie.
Yeah.
Get it
There we go.
that way.
There we go.
What am I doing?
Eddie, can you work the camera?
It's not like the radio's
Yes.
more important.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a
There's
radio
a
show.
million people on here, though.
Look at
Okay,
that.
so
Look at that. Okay.
There we go. There we go.
so anyways, when we were in the parking lot at Vamped, after Vamped has closed,
Yes.
you know, stuff can go crazy out there.
Well, I was leaving to get in my car, and I see you, Sebastian and Todd, behind Vamped at like 3 a.m, and I see Sebastian going, "You blew, you didn't get to whatever," and then I got pulled in, and it was Max Webster that was the
Okay.
I thought we did.
issue.
Admittedly
We'll
true.
make it up
I
today.
think
Well,
we probably touched on Kim Mitchell, but we probably didn't talk about it.
Well, we have to say that Canada is a huge country. So, really, bands that were big where I grew up in
it's a whole-
Toronto are different than the bands where Brent and Todd grew up, which is Western Canada. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes Americans say, "Where are you from?"
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
say Toronto, and they go, "I got a friend in Montreal."
Yeah, they always do.
I go, "Let me explain something to you."
I got a friend who drives cab in Calgary. Do you know
I
him?
go, Canada is huge.
Well, that's why when I have phone screeners and we get calls from Canada, and I should tell people this today because I see it already on the screen, is like they write Canada as like where they're from instead of the city. Like if it's in the U.S., it's like Arizona, wherever they're from. But when it's a Canadian call, it's just Canada.
country.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like one one town.
I remember when I was a little kid in the band Kid Wicked, and we got some gigs in Quebec, and I was
Right.
like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
And I like ride in the
on the road.
truck.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the guys in the band are all 10 years older than me, so they stick me in the cab of the U-Haul with the sound man.
Great.
And I'm
Wow.
like, "Hey, are we almost there?" He goes, "Dude, we got
monoxide.
like one full day to get there." I go, "What?"
Now listen, before we get into everyone's got bands they want to shout out, and Sebastian and Brent both brought boxes of
Grab
music
that.
Oh, you
to
did?
just
Wow.
talk about. Okay.
Vinyl, because I know Eddie hates vinyl.
No, I
brought
don't not
vinyls.
hate vinyl.
No,
We're not
no,
going to
but
get
they
into
all-
that.
That's a whole
I got
other
some
It's a whole
show.
other show.
I got some
Which I
cassettes
would
in
like
the
to be
car.
part of.
Just bring 8-tracks in, yeah. But the question I have for you guys is: back in the day, did you cross paths with
Very
as kids,
briefly.
young?
No, not as kids, but I will say very briefly when Age of Electric, right?
Yep.
And then you were in Vancouver.
Yes.
When Skid Row was recording Subhuman Race.
That's right, yeah. With
And-
Bob Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's where
Sebastian
we
was
kind
always
of-
walking around with a six-pack of Labatt's Blue. I go, wow, this is a lead singer who clearly is enjoying a...
I was a Canadian. I came from Canada, man.
You know where I saw Kid Wicked though was Meat.
You did?
No,
Oh.
but
Meat
in
magazine.
Winnipeg,
Yeah.
Meat magazine
yeah.
was that was our metal
Right.
Meat
informer.
magazine was
Sure.
metal events around Toronto. Was
Right.
the name
Drew
of the
Masters.
Oh,
magazine.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was in that.
Yeah.
But Kid Wicked was way ahead of that curve, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I-
you didn't see Kid Wicked?
No, we never saw Kid Wicked, but I always heard about them. I remember the photos of Sebastian. We were all obsessed with Hanoi and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So then it was like, look at these guys.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
boom, he was in like, he was in the States.
Madam X.
I,
Madam
I,
X.
I, was
Madam
in,
X.
I was in Metallian magazine before.
yeah.
Wow. Where was
That was
Metallian
the-
out of?
That was Lenny Stout out of Toronto. By the way, happy Victoria Day.
Happy
Yeah,
Victoria
it's,
Day.
it's a Canadian
Celebrating
holiday.
on a great day.
Yeah.
So they started putting my picture in Metallian, and one day I was 16 years old, and I
That's
went
right, you were
down.
a kid, huh?
I went down on Yonge Street to buy some Motley Crue buttons. They had dudes that would sell buttons.
For your battle vest.
And so I was like, I need some Crew. And I went down and there was a line of Motley Crue, there was a line of Van Halen, there was a line of Kiss, and then there was a line of Sebastian Bach.
No way.
And
Wow.
I almost, I couldn't believe what I was
Wow.
seeing. I go,
From Kid Wicked?
from the magazine,
But from what
Metallian.
band at
Yes,
the time? Kid Wicked.
Yeah.
Kid Wicked,
And
yeah.
they just put my face on a button, and I was like 16, and I was right next to Vince
That's
Steele.
so cool.
And I go, what is going on? Like, I go, you're selling, that's me, dude. And he goes, all right. He goes, we're selling a bunch of these.
Wasn't there-
People were like walking around. I was like, oh my God,
Baz-
maybe I can actually do this. Like,
I remember seeing an interview with you, young, interviewing Rat, and it was on Much
you
Music
saw that?
on the Power Hour
You
or something.
saw that?
Of course, you remember Sebastian was
my
really
God.
young.
You
and
were
he did an
doing the
interview
interview?
segment.
No, listen. Rat did a in-store for Out of the Cellar
Okay.
at Sam the Record Man,
Rest in peace.
or A&A on Yonge Street, and I lived in Peterborough. And me and my friends took the bus down there, and we stood in line, and Much Music was there covering it. And the DJ of Much Music goes up and down the line, and he goes, we need somebody to interview Rat. And he stopped at me and he goes, you. I go, what are
Wow.
you talking about? So he brought me up to I was 14. And I go,
Jeez,
and I
wow.
go, and all I could think of, I had just bought Hit Parader with Rat on the front.
Great.
And they were giving him crap about Aerosmith, saying, oh, you guys are a clone of Aerosmith. So I grab the mic and I go to Stephen Pearcy, I go, hey, I go, how do you feel about magazines saying that you're ripping off Aerosmith?
Wow.
And he goes, well, I don't think that's accurate anyway. But, there might be some TV projects for me in the future.
Okay.
And we might be unearthing all that Canadian rare
Oh, interesting.
footage.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would like
So
to just
there
point
might-
out,
you might be able to see that in the future, but I cannot believe you saw that.
Oh, yeah. I
so
remember.
Much Music
crazy.
came with no one to interview Rat? That's the bigger question here. yeah.
It was that dude with the spiky black hair. I can't remember his name.
I remember that
Remember?
dude. Tall guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he singled me out in the whole line. I have no idea.
Let me ask you guys about being kids at that time. So Baz, Kid Wicked, your first band, did you get close to getting signed? Did you get any
We
sort of
did
local
get signed.
deal?
We got signed by Heavy Metal Records out of the UK, believe it or not.
Wow. There
Did
you
the
go.
record come out?
No. But we got signed for a compilation record by Attic Records, which
Attic,
was
yeah,
Rush's label. And the album was called Maple Metal. And that
Who else was on
did
that?
come out. Rue Morgue.
Right. I
Lee Aaron was on Attic
Harlot.
Records.
Harlot.
Coney Hatch was on Attic, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anthem. Coney Hatch was Anthem.
Oh, right.
Lee Aaron was
Oh,
on Attic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
just
right.
made a mistake.
So and Todd, how old were you when you first got signed? Your first band was Age of Electric?
Age of Electric got signed in like early 90s, 90 something. I was much probably early 20s.
And you guys had success in Canada, right?
Yeah.
You have a hit single there?
Yep. We had a gold record,
Nice.
So we did a pretty good run. I mean, it was such an interesting time because there was a huge scene in Canada. I mean, Sebastian kind of moved away. So when we bring up things like I Mother Earth and Our Lady Peace and the Tea Party and Moist and all these bands, there was a 90s explosion of just where you would go back to Toronto and these kids would like I have a story once where I was at Much Music. Where we're dropping a lot. They should be paying us money today for all the time. But and Bowie was there. So Bowie comes in. We're doing our thing, and then and as we're leaving, it's like a hubbub, and Bowie's like basically we're about where Ed is, right? And I'm like, whoa, and it was like a trip. And then I go out back, and there's kids, and we're signing autographs. And Bowie comes out, gets in a van, and drives by, and I can see it's blacked out, but I can see him kind of looking over. It's like, who are these jackasses? But I go and I just look at a girl I'm signing. I go, oh my God, Bowie just looked at me, and she goes, who? I go, David Bowie. She goes, oh, my mom listens to him. Like it's completely like, But that's how big the Canadian bands, because I was just telling a story the other day how you would see like the Tea Party headlining a thing where Green Day and Foo Fighters would be like under them on the bill. Like that the Canadian scene was so big in the 90s that all these international acts would come and be under them.
All right, let me get Fitz in here real quick here, and then we'll shift to talking about some of these bands. Where did it start for you, first band, and did you get a deal? What was your very, very first band in Canada?
Well, and Todd and I are from the prairie, so Winnipeg and Saskatoon or Saskatchewan in general,
the Canadian Midwest.
They weren't meccas for getting signed.
No.
So the band that I was in, we just thought, well, we felt we were LA. We thought we were New York, but we were in the prairie. So it was really hard. At least Sebastian was in a major city. You know what I mean? And so when I toured across the country, I kept saying, I think we got to go to LA. And ironically, I had two guys in my band right out of high school from Los Angeles. Strange how that worked. But we kept writing songs and thinking, who are we going to pitch these songs to? And Todd's band got a jump on it. You guys actually, we were on the same circuit. It was late 80s. And you were probably already in this.
Probably already gone.
In the States.
I was having a platinum record in a Ferrari.
No, you were. You were.
Well,
I was in last.
No, I remember. You know what I remember? I remember.
They say, Skid Row is overnight success. I'm like, what are you talking about? It took at least 2 weeks.
I saw
I've only been using
Thunder
that
Bay.
for 40 years.
I saw you open for Bon Jovi on Keep the Faith tour. Maybe?
No, New Jersey.
New Jersey tour.
Jersey,
Thank
for
you
sure,
in Calgary.
Right.
And then I also saw you with the Killer Dwarf somewhere.
Yes.
Thunder Bay.
Yes.
Those were big tours.
That was the last show.
Skid Row with the Killer Dwarfs?
Yeah, they
yeah.
opened up the whole
Yeah.
Slave to the Grind tour in Canada, and Pantera opened for Killer Dwarfs.
Yes.
Oh,
Canada.
Pantera was on in Canada
Yes,
too?
yes.
Because they
I
were.
saw that.
And they were third on the bill, and the Dwarfs were second.
Oh, wow.
So let's.
I don't remember the Dwarfs being on the Vancouver show. I remember it being Pantera and you guys.
they were on as many as they could.
Okay, yeah.
I saw it in Thunder Bay.
So what was your first success starting out for you, Brent, as far
Well, I
as...
moved to Los Angeles. That's what happened.
And
So-
was it Vince playing with Vince Neil? Like, what was the first...
It was Union. That was
Union.
really the band with Bruce Kulick from
yeah.
Kiss and John
Crosby.
Crosby from Motley Crue. But before that, and I've maybe told this story before, and Todd knows it too, but I went to Toronto in '95, and I was trying to figure out, do I move to Vancouver? Because Todd already had success. You were in Vancouver. I was in the prairie still, and I went to Toronto, and I thought, maybe Toronto's calling me if I don't go to LA or New York.
Yeah, but
And
Fitz is missing an entire thing where he was like 16 playing in like Street Heart, like the Canadian legends, and stuff like that. Like
I did a lot
He
for the-
had that whole thing going on when he was a kid.
I did my tour of duty with all the good bands in the prairies.
Yeah,
as
Street
a
Heart, Harlequin bands like that.
Harlequin.
I was
Always
the young
drums,
guy.
Innocence.
always drums for
Yeah,
you?
but I was
Because you
always-
play other instruments.
Innocence. Yes, it's all you ever
Great songs.
needed. Innocence.
Exactly, yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Now we're getting sued by.
That's in my grab bag. We need to talk about that.
So
I
anyway,
bought
Let's
that
get
at
it-
45.
Anyway, I did move to LA and things changed. But that's really what happened. Is I went to Toronto and I tried to do something with like, okay, if I connect. I actually ran into Gil Moore of Triumph in Toronto.
Dude, I
He
have
was-
the same
just on with
story.
me
He was
last
my
week.
I have the
one
exact same
dot
story.
that connected me
Gil
there, and I
was
was
the man
like,
about town.
I just didn't meet enough people. I love networking. So, and I moved to LA, and everything changed the day I moved to LA.
He came down for NAMM, the networking. That's how you do it.
That's what really changed. It was
Gil Moore walked up to me at a club once, and he goes, the same thing when first time through, and like when you see someone like that you've seen on TV and was your whole life, you're like, whoa, that's Gil Moore. And he walked up and he goes, Aphrodisiac Smile, the single we had out at the time, and I go, no way. I go, yeah,
That's great.
It was like tall, gangly Gilmore, and I was like, no way.
So you still occasionally do gigs with Age of Electric in Canada,
We did
right?
a reunion run in like 2017, so it was kind of like, I always joke with Slash. He goes, yeah, sure, you're doing that Guns N' Roses thing, but I'm doing this. we're going to Red Deer.
Or as they call it in Canada, dead rear.
Red Deer.
And Baz, you went from Kid Wicked to Madam X.
That's right.
And then how long were you actually in Madam X? How many gigs
1
did you
year
do?
to the day.
Oh, really? That's all?
1 year to the day.
Man, those guys sure got a lot of heat. Sorry, heat off of that.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah, sorry.
Did you go? Now Madam X was U.S. based, but did you
Yes.
play in Canada a lot? Because you were in Michigan,
we played more
right?
in America, but we did play Hot Rocks in
I was gonna say
Toronto.
Hot Rocks.
We
Brampton.
played Brampton. How the heck did you know that?
I know that. I played
'Cause we read about it in
Brampton.
the
I played
Brampton.
with Slick Toxic and bands like that.
Brockfield, Brockton.
That sounds a
Brock something.
Yeah, something, yeah.
Brockville. Yes.
Yeah. There's a bunch of those, like Toronto had like
Yeah.
a bunch of offshoots of towns. And you're
Right.
like, this is out, where are we outside Toronto? Scarborough, yeah.
All right.
But, we got to mention Rock and Roll Heaven, which
Rock and
was
Roll
the
Heaven.
main place.
I played there once.
Right on.
Yeah,
and then, before that, the Gasworks is
Gasworks played there, too,
legendary.
yeah.
That's where Rush started, Triumph started, and that's where we played Kid Wicked all the time.
It was a club.
Yes, right on Yonge Street.
Mm-hmm.
We would do 3 sets a night, which is, not easy. People are like, that's like 3 shows a night. Like,
Kim Mitchell was telling us,
Like,
Kim Mitchell,
like,
the vocalist
here we
for
go.
Max Webster, was telling us a story of playing at Gasworks, and there'd be a guy in the audience writing, and he goes, oh, it's got to be a journalist or something. And they went down there and like, hey, man. Turned out it was Pi Dubois, the guy who ended up writing all the lyrics for. They had a separate lyricist who would write lyrics for Max Webster and Kim Mitchell. Was the most bizarre thing.
He also
He was just
played
a poet
keyboards.
that was sitting there, and he did kind of play in the group a little bit, but he was just like writing.
All right, let's just
and I
start.
have a picture. No.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Wait,
hold on. Everybody's pulling out. It's like everybody's pulling out albums.
Explain what's going on, Eddie. What do we have? I didn't
So
know this was gonna be a
Brent came
thing.
in with a box that had wine written on it. I thought he was bringing wine for Sebastian originally.
It's a little early for me.
And,
six-pack
and
of
instead
Labatt's Blue.
Brent has brought his
my God,
vinyl.
you guys.
Sebastian has a big tote
We
bag
come
with
prepared.
vinyl.
This is impressive.
And Todd Kerns has brought
brought myself.
Canadian water. For real.
And he's wearing a
I
Raptor
just-
shirt.
And he's wearing a Raptor
I
shirt.
gotta show this
Oh,
now.
look at this,
Hang
look
on,
at this.
hang on.
Oh, this
There's
is
We're
one-
going to get into this, and
there's
we're going
one
to take
hilarious
calls.
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
Where the hell is it?
I always say, oh, you got yeah.
A Thor, keep the dogs away. That's a classic.
Got
You kidding
to
me?
keep the dogs.
Where
It's
is
great
the
album.
one I'm looking for?
All right, let's go to a break. Let me get a break done.
okay.
Let me let's all take a deep
Is that
breath.
Randy Bach?
Because Sebastian's flailing through these records.
No, I forgot
So hold on.
my
Let's see.
Max Webster.
Joel, go to a break. We'll come back. We'll go through their record collections of Canadian stuff.
Terry
and
Jacks.
we'll also take your calls at 844-686-5863 as we celebrate Canadian rock. Sebastian Bach, Todd Kerns, Brent Fitz. What are we hearing going into the break here? What
That's
is
Dirty
this?
Weapons. Come on,
Oh,
Killer
this is Killer
Dwarfs.
Dwarfs. I
is.
couldn't hear. Yep.
Yes.
All right, Killer Dwarfs. All
Great
right.
album.
We'll be right
forgot
back with
my
more
Max
live
Webster.
from Vegas on Trunk Nation after this.
You forgot.
I have the one, where they're on the front. Can I start this, dude?
All right, we're back. Sebastian Bach's here, Brent Fitz, Todd Kerns. So, do we want caller? Should we alternate between
Yes.
pulling your stuff out of the bag or the calls? How do you want to do it?
First, I got to say one thing. This is a special message to every listener of Eddie Trunk, and I have to say this. How's it going, man? How you doing? How you doing, man?
Do you like when people call in and say hi to you and ask you how you're
I
doing?
laugh my guts out. One guy last night was so serious, like, hey, Eddie, man, I want to talk to you about Pink Floyd and stuff. But first, I got to say, hey, man, how you doing, man?
It's become a thing. That's for sure.
I'm doing good.
All right.
I'll be doing better after I get this coffee.
All right, so do you want to start with a call or should we start with a record? Let's start with one from Fitz's box.
Okay.
Then we'll go to Sebastian's,
Oh, we're gonna do
and then
one
we'll
at
go
a
to a
time.
call, and we'll kind of work around
So
like
pull
that.
one out and discuss.
So just maybe you want to just do it randomly, Brent, like you or you want to.
Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
he might have
yeah,
a
like
plan.
it could be like a surprise.
I don't have a
like
plan,
tell me
but-
what's coming
Interesting.
out.
I just want to be fair and get it going here, like a juicy one.
A juicy one. Okay.
Should we let Sebastian start then?
We
while
can
you're
do that.
looking?
We can do that. And also, I want to say that actually do Todd first.
I don't have any
He doesn't
records.
have any- well,
Just
take a
randomly
call.
pulling out of
Yeah,
yours.
you can do that.
Well, we'll take a call. Let's take a call
Yeah,
first.
take a call.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Alberta
Oh, cool.
and say hello to Dave.
This would be somebody mad at your Red Deer comment earlier.
Hey, Dave, you're on the air.
Hey guys. I kind of
Hey,
get
Dave.
both sides of this because I grew up in Hamilton and I now live in Grand Prairie, Alberta. So
Oh,
I
wow.
see the change in music.
So you grew up.
Three
You
bands
grew up Hamel Zone. That's what we used to call it.
Hammertown.
Hammertown.
Yeah.
Hamel Zone.
Yeah. So, Baz, there's like 3 bands I'd like to throw out to you and get your opinion.
Okay.
One would be Teenage Head.
Oh,
course.
man. They're so
Frankie Venn.
heavy. And, the album Frantic City is a legendary
Right?
Canadian record. And the song Disgusting and also Something on My Mind. Time. That's with the saxophone, killer
yeah.
saxophone
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
It's
That
unbelievable.
was
And
recorded down the street from me.
that's incredible music. And
Right.
I listen to that record, Frantic City, all the time. If you guys want to hear some prototype punk
Canadian
pop
punk. Yeah.
from the late 70s,
Again-
amazing band.
Dave, give me your other two because we got a lot to get to.
Hang on, we got to mention this. The band Teenage Head. They did get a record deal in America, but the American record label made them change their name to Teenage Heads.
Really?
Because
Because it sounded like Getting Head?
yeah.
Oh, I got
And
you.
I go, Teenage Head is a pretty gnarly name.
I never thought of it as
I know.
that.
I
guess
know.
so,
We're
yeah,
getting.
yeah.
We're putting all kinds of words are
Innuendo,
being
yeah.
connected to things I didn't think of today. Dave, what else do you have, real quick?
The Headstones and a newer band,
Sure.
Rebel Few.
Okay, so let me jump in as the American here. Headstones, I remember that was Darby Mills, right?
No, that was Head Pins.
No, Hugh Dillon.
Head Pins.
Headstones. Hugh
Don't
Dillon.
you make it feel like dancing?
That's the head pit. Hugh Dillon from the Headstones has gone on to be a major actor. He's in The Mayor of Kingstown.
Yep.
He was in Yellowstone.
Wasn't he in Little House on the Prairie?
No, that's Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman's Canadian?
No, that's
we're all
but he
over the fucking
But he
place
was on
here.
Little House of the Prairie.
All right, Dave, did we cover your call, Dave? I think we did.
Was
And,
he on?
and the other one is Rebel Few. If you guys
I don't
know
know
them,
them.
they work
I've
with
heard-
the.
I've
I
heard-
believe they work with.
Go ahead.
I hear they work with the producer from Pantera.
Okay.
Terry
Date?
I've heard the name. I'm not. those of us that live in the States, we
Wow,
always end up missing
Dave,
out on
you
that.
have stumped the Canadian three-headed
I know.
monster panel.
I know the
That's
name.
unprecedented
I think-
what you just did
I
there.
think we're too old.
There's that too. Ouch! That one hurt.
What is it? Rebel Few? I always go to Spotify.
Rebel
I go,
Few.
Corey in Michigan. Go ahead, Corey.
A Rebel Few.
Gentlemen, please tell Sebastian to come out of his shell a little bit.
And he's ordering coffee. He's ordering more coffee.
Yeah, get over there. How you doing, man? How you doing? How are you?
I'm originally from Nova Scotia.
No way.
Nice.
I went to school with Ricky and Julian at Cole
No way.
Ah,
Do you like model fucking trains?
The Swayze train.
Not that Patrick Swayze.
that's a reference to Trailer Park Boys,
man.
a TV show.
Okay.
Eddie's looking at us
I'm
like,
just-
what are you talking about?
I'm just staying out of the way here for once.
Well, Trailer Park Boys.
Which is big in America.
It's very
I've
huge.
heard of it. Yeah.
It is.
So, Corey, what's your band?
I got Svengali
Sure.
and Bob Rock. Bob Rock also had a band called Rockhead.
Rockhead.
In
Yeah.
Rockhead.
the early 90s.
Where is
Those are my
this
two bands.
love? Keeps me crying for more.
I played. Believe it or not, I played harmonica on a song and they never used it.
What
Really?
band are we talking about?
Rockhead.
Bob
Bob
Rock's
had
band.
a band called Rockhead,
Rockhead.
for like one album, just in the middle
but
of
hold
his
on.
production thing.
And
Before
they got a deal in America. They changed the name to Rockheads.
Wow, the king of references over here.
I think we have to mention the payolas before that.
Yeah,
Oh, was
Payola.
that? Was I singing payolas?
You were singing, well, if that was Rock and Hide or
Where
Payolas.
is
Yeah,
it
there
That's
was-
payolas.
That
They
song
were
is
called-
that's
incredible.
pre-
That's
Hell's
incredible.
But the
Back Door, Bed of Roses.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, that's the Rockhead
yeah, that's the
band,
Rockhead. Yeah, but Paola's was a band that he had that was very. Eyes of a Stranger was a song.
You've got the eyes.
I remember that. I know
of
that
a
song.
stranger.
But the American labels didn't like the term payola, so they changed their name to Rock and Hyde, Bob Rock and Paul Hyde.
So wait, that Eyes of a Stranger song, what
That's
band
Bob
is that?
Rock.
Payolas.
Bob
Yeah.
Rock.
Paolas.
Yes.
Payolas.
That's Bob
There's a
Rock's
great
band.
little footage in the Metallica making of the Black Album, when they were at Little Mountain Studios, and there's footage, if you watch that like documentary,
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Lars Ulrich is holding up a Paola's album
Right.
and making fun of Bob because Bob was
With his new wave
had his
haircut.
own band pre.
There
his
was
fame.
something else. Wasn't he in a band just before, too, that was also pretty big? There was another. I thought he had another band
Well, it
at
was
some
Rock
point.
and Hyde was the
Rock and
spin-off
Hyde.
of.
Yeah.
Can we just make a little note here? He's from my hometown, Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's all I have to say.
Was that
is from
Bob?
Winnipeg, yeah.
I remember when we did Subhuman Race with them, I was convinced that wasn't his real name. I go, come on.
It is his real name.
He goes, dude, your name's not Bob Rock.
Yeah,
You're
that
a
is-
rock producer.
It's Bob Country.
He goes, you can ask my mom, dude. Like, really, it is.
No, it is. Yeah.
All right, before I take another call, would somebody like to produce a record from
Well,
their
we were
bag
bringing
of
these up
tricks
before,
here?
so
Oh, there we
to,
go.
we need to go down the
All right,
Max
let's
Webster,
do a
Universal
couple.
Jet. Have you?
Okay, I brought this last time on CD.
and then the.
What?
Okay, so
Oh, no, I didn't.
do we
I didn't
agree
bring
on
my Kims.
just as important is the Max Webster band featuring
Yes.
Kim Mitchell, but I think Kim Mitchell as a solo artist
Oh, yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
even more for the masses
Yeah.
because
It
in
became
America
sort of more
the
Might
song
as well go for
Go
soda.
for a soda.
Go for Soda was a huge hit, and this is the record.
But pass me a
Yes.
Universal Jet. This
This is the record with Go for a Soda on it?
Go for Soda.
This is the one with
Original
Rush,
cover.
Battle Scar.
That you've heard,
Battle Scar.
Right.
Yeah,
I've
we
heard
told you
about
about that
yes,
before.
Yes, yes.
That's-
Amazing.
All the guys from Rush and the Max Webster band on one song.
And to be quickly pointed out, a yellow unitard spandex outfit.
Yes.
Like, yeah, next
That's
level.
amazing.
All right. So, and yes, go for people that don't know. Anybody in the U.S., any connection to that would be Go for a Soda. That was like
I
a
think so,
semi-rock radio hit.
Yeah.
Probably like 83, 84,
Yeah.
something
There was
like that.
also
like
a
that.
ballad hit right after that called All We Are.
All We Are.
One of the greatest
Beautiful
songs
song.
of all
Which is,
time.
I've always wanted to cover it. Always.
What's his name?
do it.
Pete Fredette, the singer or the bass player, sang that high bit.
I know.
Yeah, he's really
From
great on this.
Loverboy?
No, from
No, he's from
But
from
al-
Kim
Mitchell's
Kim's
band.
Also, I gotta say that anybody listening to this, I collect records, and one of my best sounding records is "A Million Vacations"
Max Webster.
by Max Webster.
Wow.
What has "A Million Vacations" is what you gotta find with the car horn.
Who produced that? That it sounds.
I
so
don't
good.
even know,
Is it a Bob
but
Ludwig
you put it on-
mastering or something?
Wouldn't that be great?
I wonder. If you could, there was a lot of.
Wouldn't that be
You have to remember
amazing?
that there was Bob Rock, Bruce Fairbairn, all these Canadian producers that were like making huge hit records in Canada.
Right.
And those, I mean, Daniel Lanois, all those kind of guys from Hamilton.
Yeah. All right. So let's. Do you want to, Baz,
Sure,
take
yeah.
one out of your?
I got one that I'm
whip
going to
one out.
save till the end, but what about this, man? Thor.
You got to keep
Keep the dogs away. Now there was a documentary. Now, I have a long history with Thor. I can actually jump in on this because Thor. So that record is what 76.
Is it about
it?
Yeah, that's
Something like
70.
that.
That's 78,
Really?
79.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's considered his like masterpiece
one, yeah.
record. Yes.
This looks like it's on RCA, like an American label too.
I don't know how I collect this.
So Thor made a good run of it in the U.S. And when I started in radio in '83, Thor was one of the first people I ever interviewed. And I used to have him on my show all the time. He was married. He's the woman, his
Yeah.
wife Pantera.
Right.
She went by the name
remember
Pantera.
that.
She was
right.
in his show as a backing singer, and he lived in New York. So I used to go
That's
into
right,
New York and like get falafel with Thor and sit in his apartment.
Wow, that's a weird
like he was,
sentence.
but he was like as a kid, he was like one of the first rock guys
Yeah.
that I
Yes.
actually befriended.
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful guy. His real name's John.
Right.
And then a good friend of mine, still to this day, Rick Fabio, was his drummer for a little while.
Oh, wow.
And I saw Thor in the early years playing in the clubs, but that record even predates that. And
Yeah.
friends of mine who are a little older worship that record.
And
Well, and
here-
he would bend metal on like a
Yeah.
metal bar on
and
stage.
blow up a hot water bottle
Yes.
until
Yeah.
it popped.
Like
he
a
was like a
strongman
bodybuilder
antics,
dude.
yeah.
Here's a little trivia. One of the first times I ever got paid in my life, I was an extra in a Thor video.
No way.
When I was
What?
about 15.
They pay extras?
Well, I got like $80 or something.
That's
and
pretty good.
I was in a Thor video that was filmed at the Ontario Science Center. Me and all my buddies, all these rockers.
Do you remember the name of the
YouTubed that
song?
No, I
immediately.
don't.
'Cause so
No.
here's the
it was
thing that-
filmed at the Ontario Science Center, and we're all running around. And
Wow.
So listen, if you go on YouTube and you put in the YouTube search the worst music video ever made,
I just looked it up. It says,
universally
the
considered
worst
to be a Thor
Thor?
video, and it might be the one you're in, Baz.
you're welcome.
It's universally considered to be the worst video. It's literally labeled that on YouTube if you go
Really?
into it. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
there's a documentary that came out on Thor like 7 years
it's
ago.
great. Yeah.
But my favorite Thor mishap spinal tap thing ever was Thor was playing, I don't know where, some club, and he's a huge guy. I mean, he's a bodybuilder dude, and he would hit his hammer on the stage, and he'd blow up the Ben Steel in his mouth back in the day, and the stage that he was on gave out, and in the middle of doing
my
his
God.
thing, he fell through the floor.
Wow.
And it's like something out of a cartoon, and then he's climbing out with the hammer, using it to like pull himself back up. But John's a great guy. I mean, he still plays from
You
time
know,
to time.
why it didn't work for him? He didn't have a gimmick.
Exactly. All right, let's get another call in. Let's go to Vancouver.
All right.
And welcome Keith to the show. Hey, Keith.
Hey, you guys are freaking hilarious. I love you.
Hey, happy
You're
Victoria Day.
Yeah, happy Victoria Day. Hey, and John Taylor alumni, Brent Fitz.
what?
Hey, no way.
What's
not
John?
the bass player from
I
Duran
was going to
Duran.
say, so explain that.
That's our high school.
Help us. Oh, that's your high school.
Winnipeg.
Our high school in
Oh.
Winnipeg.
But it
Your
has,
high school is named after the guy in Duran Duran?
Go figure.
That's cool.
And also, Biff Naked from Canada was from John.
Yes.
I remember Biff Naked.
That's
Yeah,
right.
from the
I'll
same high
bet
school.
you do.
Same high school.
Johnny Z signed Biff Naked and was managing her
That's
at one
right.
point.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I know.
We used to call her Beth Torbert in school.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
one day she was Biff Naked.
That's right.
Oh, wow. Keith, what else you
Yeah,
got?
so the band that I think every American needs to listen to is Queen City Kids. The guys
wow. Yeah,
know
good call.
that band very well because they took the cue from the Queen City
That's
Kids.
right. Yeah, and we covered two of their songs on the first record and the second record. Yeah.
Yeah, for those that
And
don't know,
Todd-
Brent and Todd have a band called
on
Took
perfectly.
that covered a lot of Canadian stuff and now also does original material as well. So
The Queen City Kids were from Regina, Saskatchewan, the Queen City. So,
Oh,
but they
right.
eventually moved to Winnipeg and had a run. But they were amazing songwriters, great rock band. They had quite a run. They're really good friends of ours now. But yeah, when we were kids, they were rock stars.
That was one of those bands that maybe, Baz, you didn't know about from
No.
Toronto, who
Yeah.
were huge on the West Coast.
I did know about Street Heart, though.
Streetheart was more universal.
Could have been the biggest from the prairies of those bands.
Yeah.
Although Harlequin has to be mentioned.
Harlequin, I bought the 45 for Innocence, and I saw them live in Peterborough.
Oh, yeah,
I
sure,
saw
yeah.
Harlequin
They had a
at
big
the
run.
Memorial Center.
Yeah.
Sorry,
another
Keith.
caller, we going to a record.
Let's do a call.
All right, let's go to Gary, who is in Detroit, joining us right now. Gary, you're on the air with Sebastian Bach, Todd Kerns, Brent Fitz. What's going on?
Hey guys, great show. Really look forward to these shows from Canada. So, being from Detroit, we got a lot of Canadian music from
Sure.
the Windsor area, right? 89
Yeah.
Right.
and the River 93.9. So, I'm just going to throw a quick list and then ask you about a band at the end. But bands like Spirit of the West, Boot Sauce,
Yeah.
Ginger, Philosopher Kings, Joy Drops, Sam Roberts, all that. But a band I
Did you say
recently-
boot sauce?
Boot Sauce from
Love,
Montreal.
yeah, Love
God,
Monkey
these are
number
great
9.
names.
Love Monkey number 9. That was the hit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love Monkey number 9. Sorry, go ahead.
No, good. But a band I just stumbled across, a band called the Barstool Prophets.
Yeah, I know those
Heard of
guys.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell they take their cue from the Tragically Hip. They really
Yeah.
sound similar, but really good band. But yeah, I've got a whole Canadian playlist on my iTunes library. Love it all. Love it all.
Those the Barstool Prophets were definitely like amongst that Tragically Hip Rheostatics. Very cool, very hip, very Canadian hang.
Yeah.
All right.
You had to know the
Great.
secret handshake. I didn't know it.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate the call. Sebastian, what do you got there?
Well, we got to
look
talk
out.
about April
Wine, of
Wine.
course.
Yeah, we can't go wrong with that.
This album was platinum, I believe, in America.
Which one is that?
Sign of the
Sure,
Gypsy
yeah.
Queen, Nature of the Beast.
Nature
Yeah.
of the Beast. What a great,
That's a great album.
incredible sounding record.
Miles Goodwin.
It's unbelievable.
Who produced that? Who
I don't
produced?
know.
I'll look while you get the next
Okay.
one. ready.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite one because
Yeah.
of the song I Like to Rock.
I like. You
What a-
got to point out the Habs jersey
One of the-
he's
I
wearing.
think
and-
that's-
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the greatest.
Miles Good. Oh, I Like to
Canadian-
Rock is so
Oh.
badass.
Yeah.
But also Roller, which is a great song that I heard on Duff McKagan's show like
Oh, really?
a couple weeks ago. I couldn't believe he was playing that.
This is produced by Miles Goodwin and Mike Stone.
Oh,
That's
well, there you go. Mike
incredible.
Stone did Journey stuff and legendary guys. So.
All Over Town,
Yeah.
telling me lies, telling
Let me
me
see
lies.
Harder, Faster, because I had these records, and there is great stuff. I
Oh,
can't.
there really is.
They're still going.
Yeah, I saw them about
Hey,
3-4 years
what's-
ago in Houston.
What's going on? I just had to pull out this record. So Canadians have to wear
Yeah.
Montreal Canadiens.
Who is that? Is that
Rick
Triumph?
Emmett.
That's-
Rick Emmett has a
Why are these-
Habs jersey
Why are
on
these
here.
Toronto guys wearing Habs jerseys?
I don't know, but why are
Well,
we...
I mean, Miles.
Well, April Wine is a
they're from
Montreal band.
Montreal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the April Wine had great stuff, and they're still going. I think Miles Goodwin's the only original guy left. There was a gig in
I think Brian-
Houston.
well, Brian Greenway
You know,
still
I,
does.
Oh, is he?
I
guitar
read
player.
I read Miles Goodwin's book, which I enjoyed.
I have that. I haven't read it yet.
But there's one part that I have to mention here that he mentioned in his book that he had to kick out the drummer Jerry Mercer,
yeah.
who's one of the most incredible drummers.
Who
of
would
all time.
read? He had his
kicked-
autograph on his kick drum head. You'd go and see them live, and it would just say Jerry Mercer.
But he got kicked out of April Wine for smoking pot.
Oh, wow.
And my question.
That's not very rock and roll.
Miles, now that it's legal, can we get Jerry back in the band? Come on! He's not breaking any laws.
It's legal in all of Canada too. I think,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Jerry Mercer for April Wine.
Hashtag Jerry Mercer.
We got
From
to.
Maneskin. Remember that band?
Yeah,
We got to do our top of the hour. We'll be back. We've got more madness talking Canadian rock with BRENT FITZ, Todd Kerns, Sebastian Bach, and you next on Trunk Nation. All right, we're back. Hour 2. I will do the second show today, by the way. So 5 to 8, music and talk on Hair Nation tonight or today or this afternoon. Sebastian is here, and he is multitasking, setting up his Facebook Live, ordering DoorDash, directing Kerns where to sit so he can be in the shot.
Yeah.
There he is.
Todd Kerns is here. BRENT FITZ is here. We're talking Canadian rock. Turns out it's Victoria Day in Canada.
Wow.
So it actually is a holiday, which we didn't plan. So
Queen Victoria.
happy holidays to our Canadian audience. Do we want to go back to calls?
Let
Or are
me
we
do
pulling out?
one little funny thing here.
He'll pull one out real quick. Pull one out.
Pull
That
one
sounds,
out.
yeah.
Sebastian's
Pull out some
bag of
teenage
tricks.
head.
Look, I like this one.
What is that? Randy?
Burton Cummings. No,
that's
no,
Randy
That's a
Randy
Randy
Bachman.
Bachman solo.
This has got the song. I'm looking out for number one. Do, do, do. That's
But
right.
you know,
Which has great chords in it.
the most Canadian thing about this is it, in Canada he's pronounced Backman.
It is Bachman.
Really?
Randy Bachman.
Is that
It is
right?
Bachman,
Well,
yeah.
why aren't our Sebastian back?
Well, you are now.
Why aren't our Sebastian back, man?
Backman.
All right, let's get a call in. This is truck driver Dan, who is in Toronto, joining us right now.
Oh, cool.
Dan, go ahead, Dan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How's
Good.
it going,
There you
man?
Good, eh? Pretty good.
There we go. Hey,
How's it going?
good.
Yeah.
Hey, Baz. Hey,
Yes,
Baz,
sir.
I ran into you a few times down in the Gasworks when I used to hang around with Russ and the Killer Dwarfs.
That's right.
I used to be the lighting engineer down there.
Wow,
Bands
man.
like Pink Cadillac and such.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, yeah, like
How come-
Russ's tricycle on stage.
Russ's tricycle.
Rush had a tricycle.
No, not
Russ
Rush.
Dwarf.
Oh,
Singer for
Rush
Killer
Dwarf.
Dwarf.
Rush.
Geddy Lee riding
Yes,
a tricycle
Geddy- Rush
while he was
had a-
playing keyboards and bass and singing.
Into a washer and dryer. Well, can I ask a question, dude? Since you worked at the Gasworks, the Gasworks used to serve beers that were like a gallon, like they were a pint. Like how big were those? You remember those? Those giant beers.
Yeah, They were like a yard.
Well, why was that the only place in the world that I've ever seen those beers? Like, every beer came in a glass bottle that was like this big.
If you go to the Yard House
Like-
where I ate last night, you can get beers like that in yard long.
Well, you can get them on the strip too.
Yeah, it's tourists.
I never saw beers like that.
Yeah.
other than the
It
gas
induces the best kind of behavior.
station. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Like, I'm like underage.
Out of there, you're doing good.
Yeah, exactly.
If you remember walking out of there, you're
Dan, did you have a band you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, well, Killer Dwarfs, obviously, and the other band, Helix. I used
Oh,
to
yeah.
Daryl, the bassist. I haven't heard of those guys or seen what they're doing, and I don't know how long.
Oh, Brian's been in touch. I hear from Brian Vollmer all the time, and I play Helix on my Monday show. And Brian wrote a book, I think, not too long ago.
Brian was also in the Trailer Park Boys, and Helix has a documentary DVD that is absolutely
that.
incredible.
I didn't know
I gotta
that.
see
It's so Canadian, you
I
will
bet,
really
yeah.
dig it. But my first record that I ever bought by Helix was called White Lace and Black
the original.
Leather.
Yes, awesome.
And I bought that at Moondance Record and Tapes, and you can't recognize Brian Vollmer on that. He looks like Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw them open for the Headpins in Saskatoon at the hockey arena that's no longer there. But I remember, like, I'd never heard of Helix. That was the Heavy Metal Love, whatever that album.
Oh,
No
yeah.
Rest for the Wicked. And the band's playing, and Brian comes somersaulting over it. It was like out of control. Like, who the fuck is he? It was like they were brilliant.
So they had a little taste here in America with Heavy Metal
yeah.
Love, and then Deep Cuts the Knife, which was written by Bob Halligan, and Rock You,
yeah.
which they did a brilliant thing in rock radio for Rock You. So of course they're servicing it to radio, and they decided to go in and have Brian re-record. Like, they picked like the 20
That's
biggest
right.
radio stations in the country, and if say the local rock station here in Vegas is called Comp, so they'd have Brian record a line that would be, give me a K, give me an O, give me an M, give me a P, what do you call Comp? What are we going to do? Rock you. So every Tool program director in the country was like, oh, I'm going to play that. We're rocking. And it worked.
Yeah.
It was the smartest move they made. Of course, I remember because the station I worked for had one, and we played it.
Of course,
give us a W, give us a D, give us an H, give us an A. I was like, all right, they got it on the radio. It was smart. It worked out.
That's cool.
Michael, who's in British Columbia, wants to get in here. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Where in British
Can
Columbia?
you hear me there?
Yeah.
Can you hear
Where
me?
in British Columbia,
I just
Michael?
want to start out by saying,
There's wait, our coffee has arrived. Hold on a second.
Right on, dude.
Here, I'll come.
We got the coffee.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so
care,
that
man.
was
Thank you, man.
That was a little reference to Bob and Doug McKenzie.
From SCTV.
And you know, we talk about Battle Scar with Max Webster, but of course, I hope the Americans know that Geddy Lee recorded the single "Take Off to the Great White North." Take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off.
Yeah.
anyway,
Brilliant.
that's my call here.
Yeah.
Just give a shout out to my buddy Alfie Galpin. He's been on the keys and rhythm guitar for close to 25 years with the Headpins.
Nice.
And they have a new singer. They got a new singer out, so if you go to headpins.net, you can see a little medley. And her name is Rosa Laracuda, I believe her last name is pronounced.
So what is Darby Mills doing?
Shows 40,000.
Darby does a solo
Darby,
thing,
she's
yeah.
in a
Oh, yeah?
yeah, she's in a Darby Mills project, I believe.
Yep.
Based
I
out of
saw
Brantford,
Headpins.
Columbia, around here.
I saw Headpins
Sorry?
open. I saw Headpins open for Kiss at
That's right.
Maple Leaf
Yeah,
Gardens.
they played with Kiss, I think, on the Creatures
Creatures tour.
Yeah,
Creatures?
I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, Michael, thank you.
I guess you played with,
How good is that?
Oh,
played with
cheers.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra for a while there.
Good stuff.
Cool, man. Thank you. These guys are
Right
making
on.
orgasmic sounds because
Oh,
they're
it's
drinking
so
their
good.
coffee. So that's just don't want anybody to get the wrong idea here.
Everybody,
no teenage
who
head
remembers
on
the
here.
Attic
I
Records
remember this.
compilation?
Metal for
Okay,
breakfast.
out of
for
the
breakfast.
Brent Fitz bag of
It's
tricks.
a compilation. It's on Attic Records, a Canadian
But it's
label.
got.
This should've
Is
been-
this
it's
got?
like Maple
Is this
Metal.
got Saxon? Princess
No.
of the
It-
Night.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has some
Why
American
does
and
it
British
have-
bands, but
Oh.
you know, heavy
are
metal
Canadian bands, but it's-
breakdown. Killer Dwarfs
Love
is on
that
here.
song.
Fuck yeah.
It's a Blotto song, and there's Metal Queen Lee Aaron.
Yep.
Very important.
But Princess of the Night, I remember that being a big. deal like
That's Saxon,
Yeah,
though.
there's
I know,
Who
it's a
covered it?
compilation.
Oh, they were on
But
it.
everybody had this record. This
Yeah.
was like
Rattle off-
1983.
Rattle off the playlist because it's kind of interesting. It's Forged in Fire by Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah, we
Cat
didn't get
Scratch,
an Anvil
Cat
show.
Scratch Fever.
Anvil has a new record out,
Impact is imminent or something.
crushing pounders.
It's called, I think it's called Impact is Imminent or something like that. Yeah, the Anvil with a new record.
It's got Balls to the Wall by Accept, Black Funeral by Merciful Fate, Metalhead by Blotto. That was a silly thing. The Ripper by Judas Priest, Metal Health
Yep.
by Choir.
All those
Riot.
great
So it's
Canadian
Y&T Mean Street. Yeah, I know. It's like
There's no Canadian
and Crazy
bands.
Train by Ozzy. So it's a weird like compilation, but they stuck on some Canadian. This is an attic thing, so they must have been doing it to promote
Everybody had this
Terry
record though,
Jackson,
back
the Poppy
in the day.
family.
Let's reel it back to Canada. We just
Vancouver.
lost Susan Jacks.
Jacks, yeah.
Get a shot of her right
Well, it was
there.
Terry Jack's Seasons in the Sun.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
He was Canadian?
Yes.
Vancouver.
And he passed away?
Yes.
No,
No.
well, maybe he did. I don't know, but
No,
she
I
just did pass away.
Yeah.
But who
She
was
was-
Susan Jacks was what? His wife?
Yes,
Yes.
they were
And they
part
were-
of the band, the
I didn't know
Poppy
that.
family.
Poppy family. was sitting-
Everyone, including me, wishes he could be set free.
Right, right.
A friend
of mine-
Concrete C.
Right,
Now
right.
wait, Seasons in the Sun
Yeah,
was
we have
with Terry
joy,
Jacks
we
without
have
her,
fun.
or
No,
that
that's
was
this Ter-
that
well,
was
Terry
still
Jacks.
that.
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure if that was Poppy family, but it was definitely
Hey,
Terry Jackson.
what's important? K-Tel.
It's
on
yeah,
K-Tel,
A
yeah,
right?
Canadian
Out of Winnipeg,
compilation label. Yeah.
But I wanted to, but she was known as like one of the hottest
Yeah.
Canadian
I'm not going to argue
singers.
with that.
So
Yeah.
there's a shot on Facebook here.
So Poppy Family was the name of their group together?
Yeah, yeah.
And then they also operated solo as
They were
well.
a precursor to the grunge movement. They were really, really, really
Now
into
he's reaching.
poppies. And,
Don't
no,
listen.
Just joking. Just joking. Nothing to do with poppies.
Oh my God! Let's go to Greg for whoever's
That's
screening
different
calls. Can you put the city or Canada where they're from, not just Canada, so it helps us hone in a little bit. Greg, where are you from?
Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Hey, Greg, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to say before I get to my band that today is actually referenced in Lakeside Park, the Rush song Lakeside Park.
What?
Wow.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
every
check the
every
lyrics.
every 23rd of May,
23rd of
they
May,
gather for the fireworks
we gather
display.
at Eddie Trunk's house on the outskirts of
talk
Las
about
Vegas. We gather the triumph.
Wait, do we just set this now that on every 23rd of May we do this?
Yeah. There
The
you
four
go.
of us.
That is so weird, though.
That is funny.
That is weird.
That's
All right.
great.
Lakeside Park. Yeah.
Okay, so he. Okay, what's
What
your
was
question?
yeah? What's go ahead, Greg? Before you get run
My
over.
band is actually my entry into grunge. Because I heard these guys 2 years before Nirvana and Soundgarden, and they are from Vancouver, and they're called the Sons of Freedom.
Sure,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember
yeah.
that. I remember they were really good.
They had a great album called
They were heavy.
Gump.
Yes, I
Named after-
partied with those guys.
Yeah, that album's great. There's a
Monkey
song
Cage.
you
Monkey
didn't
Cage.
party
Monkey
with?
Cage was on.
I remember.
My monkey cage.
They were really good.
They had a song
Sons
called
of Freedom.
They had a
really
song
good.
called The Prisoner.
Yeah.
Before that,
There was also a great
Vancouver.
band. Who was the band? I'm an adult now.
Tragically,
TPOH.
yeah,
Who?
Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of
Pursuit of
Happiness.
Great.
Happiness from
Great.
Toronto.
Speaking of Jerry in New
I'm
York has been
adult
waiting a
now.
long time. Actually, has that band he wants to shout
Let's
out.
talk to
Jerry, go
Jerry.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, John. The Pursuit of Happiness is my favorite Canadian band. I went to see them last week in Toronto. Made the trip from
No,
there.
last
And
week?
I always think-
Yeah, they're still doing stuff.
Wow, man. Mo
Great-
Mo Berg.
Yeah, Mo Berg, one of the
Great.
great power pop. Mo was a great songwriter.
You know, right when Skid Row was like right about to take off, I lived near Queen and Roncesvalles in Toronto, and I was walking down the street. There's nobody on the street, and then Mo Berg comes walking towards me, and we're both.
Who's this? Who are we talking about? Who's
He's the lead singer,
from
and they were
Pursuit of
like
Happiness.
big on Much Music then, and I hadn't really started. But we both had like long blonde hair. We both were wearing black leather jackets. we walked like right by each other. We both kind of like looked at each other, and I'll never forget.
Did you do
that.
like the long hair guy nod? The kind of
We just kind of like we're like I kind of went look at you, and you kind of went look at you.
dude. I used to know him pretty well back in the day, and he was like they were like a power pop band, really clever, cool songs. But
First album produced by Todd Rundgren.
Todd Rundgren, that's
Wow.
right. And he goes one night, hey, we're gonna go see Warrant tonight. This is like in the '90s.
Mo
and,
Berg.
and I go, what? And we all showed up to see Warrant in like the kind of the dark years. But it was like he's like great songs. These are great songs. I go. He was always very like hip to like he wasn't really like it had to be this or it had to be that. He could appreciate songs. Yeah.
John, you
That was a
waited a
great
long
video.
time. Anything else you wanted to throw out before I let you go?
No, that's it. That's my one and only band. That's it.
That's
Good
cool,
call,
man.
brother.
All right.
What a great band.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Fitz, do you want to pull one out?
Yeah, hold on.
So we make sure we spread it around a little bit.
I did not prepare. I'm sorry.
I actually,
You just bought
I
the
actually
Canadian
had
water.
more. I had more, and I forgot.
No,
like,
we
a
got
stack.
plenty. Trust me. We only got another 40
Here, while he's
minutes.
looking, here we go.
Okay, go,
this
go,
is
go.
Santers.
Rick Santers,
Rick
who
Santers.
was in
Santers.
Triumph
That's right.
as the supplemental player, right?
right, yeah.
When they
I-
went
I
to a
think
four-piece.
This
Didn't
album
he-
is autographed by the band Santers.
Did you go to this show
So
and get it signed?
fuck you. This is mine.
Where did you get it signed? At A&A Records?
I
At a
might
meet
have
and
bought
greet?
it signed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But,
But did Rick not replace Rick? Rick Santers
also in
Yes,
Triumph.
because-
Well, he was a
four-piece.
fourth member when they had an extra
And
guy
Rick's-
when they were
But when
touring.
Emmett left, did Rick not?
No,
like, sing
Phil
songs?
X did.
Well, Phil says, I don't know, Phil. I always ask Phil this, and he kind of goes, "No, Rick Santers sang," and I go, "Are you just trying to dodge a bullet here?"
Well, they may have
No, I
both,
think
but
you're
Phil
right.
X
I
was
think you're
actually
right.
did a record with Triumph.
Yeah,
the
That's right.
song
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
love on here is called Road to Morocco.
They did a killer version of
Remember
All Right
that?
Now
Yes.
by. They did,
Road to Morocco.
oh yeah, right.
So was Santers big in Canada?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they were huge,
They had a
but
good run.
they were big.
Yeah.
Because Canada has this crazy rule called CanCon, where
Right, Canadian content.
yeah,
Right, we've
where,
talked about
where
that.
if you're Canadian, they play you on the radio station, but evidently being a Canadian citizen doesn't make you Canadian.
Oh, is that? Yeah, right. I imagine you.
Because I don't get that, but
They don't give you that love.
no.
That's
Even
some
when we
bullshit.
did
That's some
Subhuman
bullshit.
Race. Subhuman Race recorded in Vancouver.
Do you know all the
Producer
loopholes that
Vancouver.
Alice Cooper pulled off in the early days?
Engineer Vancouver.
Brian Dodds.
I co-wrote 5 of the songs on the record. But I still didn't get it.
Yeah.
The engineer on that record's name was Brian Dodds, a very
yeah.
good friend
On
of
what
ours.
record?
He's a great guy.
On Subhuman Race.
Yeah.
And my brother,
Never heard of
my
him.
brother was his roommate,
No.
and he would tell my brother would tell me, I keep getting these messages from Sebastian Bach on our message machine, like, dude, Brian Dodds. And I would just
How you doing?
yeah, he would
Hey,
scream
Brian.
into the.
How
my brother.
you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah.
I was joking when I said when you said Subbeam Race, I said I never heard of it. I was joking about that, not your friend.
No, yeah, not
because
Brian.
I'm obviously everyone knows I love that record.
No, yeah, of course, yeah.
Fitz,
Well, we
you
all
want
love
another
Brian.
one before we take a call?
Oh, Aldo
Oh,
Nova.
come on. I
Aldo
love-
Nova.
Aldo was just on with me 2 weeks ago.
way.
You know,
He's got a new
That
record
new
out.
one's good too. Yeah.
People talk about fantasy, which is incredible, but there's a ton of other great songs on
This
here.
is
Ball
also,
and Chain.
It should be pointed out that he's playing a Les Paul during a period where Les Pauls weren't cool anymore.
Very good. Yeah.
Hot Love is a wicked song. Under the Gun, Ball and Chain. I used to listen to this at Lakefield College School.
From Montreal.
In the dorm.
Aldo was just on my show recently. He's got a brand new double concept rock opera
Wow.
record, The
Whoa.
Life and Times of Eddie Gage. He just sent me, and he re-recorded stuff from that record and did a Fantasy 2.0. So
Wow.
he's trying to make a run at being.
Did you know Aldo wrote songs for like Celine Dion?
Oh
and
yeah,
people like that?
oh
He
yeah,
had a really
yeah.
good run. Yeah, he's a very
for sure.
talented guy.
Bon Jovi, he did
Jovi,
stuff
yeah.
with, including Young Guns. Although he's had clearly had some falling out with Bon Jovi because I brought that up with him a couple weeks ago when he was on, and he said they don't talk anymore. and
that's a shame.
Something went south.
He
but-
was always
another way you
backstage,
can-
like on the New Jersey tour.
Yeah, well, they
Skid
were
Row.
tight.
I was hanging out with Aldo backstage.
Bon Jovi put an Aldo Nova solo record out.
I remember
Blood
that
on the
back in
Bricks.
the- Yeah,
well,
Blood on the Bricks.
how about
Yeah.
the dot that connects? Phil X was in that band
In Aldo
with
Nova's
Aldo
band.
Nova's band during the Blood on the Bricks era. That's where I first met Phil in Toronto because we opened a few
And
of
now
those shows.
Phil plays in Bon Jovi.
Small world gets smaller.
Yeah, and then speaking of Aldo, your guitarist Brent Woods was sending me this poster image the other day because it was exactly 40 years that he went to a show in Santa Monica that was UFO with Aldo Nova opening.
Wow.
And he said Aldo came out wearing the leopard skin
Sure, yeah.
one-piece deal that he
not?
wore in the video.
What's with the
live on
Canadian?
the
What's with the
thing.
Canadians and the unitards?
Yeah, I
Do we? I secretly have a bunch in my closet.
don't- next time we do this, everybody's got to wear one.
Because Rick Emmett too. He he was like always wore the kind of one piece. Yeah.
And then Mike Levine. Well, the Triumph documentary, which Baz and I are both in.
I still haven't seen that. I'm dying to see it.
They talk about, like, Mike Levine talks about his challenge of wardrobe, like when he wore the hockey jersey, then he wore like the kimono wrap or something. They didn't know what to wear.
I always remember the St. Louis Blues jersey. I was always like, huh.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's do a quick break. We'll come back. More with Todd Kerns, BRENT FITZ, Sebastian Bach, more talking
I got top billing
Canadian
that time, Baz.
rock music. I'm trying to keep it even. I don't want to have any ego issues here.
all good.
We're trying to spread it around, keep everybody involved. We'll come back and we'll go more back to the
Wow.
we'll go back
There's
to
a lot
the
of these
phones,
coverage
we'll go back to their boxes of records. See, God knows what we'll get into before we wrap up, coming up just before 4 Eastern.
Canada.
Be right back after this on Trunk Nation on Volume.
Oh, Canada.
Okay, we're back, and we are live from Vegas. Tomorrow, Chris Angel is going to be sitting in with me.
No way.
Wednesday, Phil Soussan's going to be sitting in with me.
Cool.
Baz, you sent me that text. Phil wanted to come on, and he's coming in Wednesday. So we got great stuff coming up. And then Thursday, I'll be live from Los Angeles. We will have this brand new young band, Classless Act, is tentatively scheduled to be on the show. They're actually opening the stadium tour. They're the 5th band, the first band on. And they'll be dropping by, so we'll get some new blood on Thursday, Free for All Friday on Friday, and I'll recap the Def Leppard show, which is happening Thursday night at the Whiskey special private show for SiriusXM listeners. I will be there. I'll give you the report on that on Friday as well. Okay, let's get back to it. Is in our Canadian frenzy here. Sebastian, you want to pull
Couple
something
more out.
else out?
I just noticed a lot of these records just have like a dude's head on them.
Randy
So
Bachman.
here's Randy
A lot of
Bachman.
mustaches.
Here's Burton Cummings. I got my own way to rock.
The lead
I
singer
got
from
my
Guess
own
Who.
way to roll.
Maybe one of the greatest vocalists.
I partied with him, actually.
No, shocking.
Yes, I did.
Shocking, yeah.
He goes, hey, I'm with one of the best screamers. Okay.
Who's that?
Carol Pope, Rough Trade.
Great.
Now, Rough Trade, High School Confidential. Did you guys, did you get that in America?
No, not that I am aware of.
It's a
Teenage
super
Brando.
edgy lyrics
It's
in that, yeah.
Complete.
She makes me
Cream my jeans when she comes my way.
As sung by a woman, too.
Yeah, and I was like,
It's a
that
really
is
cool
hot.
song.
Hey, let me hit you with this. Speaking of women in Canada,
And then
who's
Baldy.
that? What's
Valdi,
It's kind of like
Baldy.
who had a song called Rock and Roll Town, and Valdi went to my school, Lakefield College School.
What town do you think he was singing about? Rock and roll town.
Probably Toronto.
Let me hit you guys with one real quick as far as women. The Queensryche song, Gonna Get Close to You,
Lisa
was
Dalbello.
actually done, a cover from a
Yeah.
Canadian artist named Lisa,
Lisa Dalbello.
It
Dalbello.
was huge there.
Which is almost...
She was.
Yes.
It's
That-
pretty much almost verbatim, really.
We know
Platinum.
her version very well
Yeah.
in Canada. And then when Queensryche did it, we were like, well, we know that
Yeah.
song.
And they did
Yeah.
it like a year later. It wasn't even
Right.
that long.
They crushed
We
it,
didn't
too.
know it at all in the U.S., but it was a hit in Canada, our
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this important female contribution.
Wow, yeah,
With
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the Canadian heart, basically.
Toronto.
Yeah.
We'll
was
tell
name
the
of
story
band.
about the song.
Yeah, they have a
Thomas, and the
song.
band.
What was it? What About Love?
Yeah.
What About Love? The big heart song was their song.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
Did you know
I
that?
knew
Oh,
that
yeah.
Nevison had sourced other people's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so if we were to hear their version of What About Love, does it sound like the hard
verbatim.
version?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Joel, look that up for us if you can, and give us like 30 seconds. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
So this is the original This is the original version of What About Love. Does nothing in America, but it was big in Canada.
Well,
No, I don't even think it was a single
No.
in Canada. Yeah, I think it was
yeah, there was
to be
some-
honest, I heard that there was some sort of contention in the band at that point.
Really?
They were
Over
kind of
that song,
falling
maybe.
apart.
Yeah.
Like somebody wrote the song, and somebody wasn't into it, and then and then that song went on to get
Well,
used.
whoever wrote it isn't complaining now because
Not
they
at
must
all.
got some fat checks for
Yeah.
35
Exactly,
years.
yeah.
So, Joel, were you able to find it? The band is called Toronto.
That's like the
Looking for it.
Life is a Highway.
Yeah, that's
Tom
Yeah.
Cochran.
That was a monster smash in Canada,
Yeah. Yep.
way before anybody.
And then
in
Rascal
America
Flatts
heard it.
covered it.
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah, that's right.
Tom's sitting pretty.
But that
No,
was
wait,
that was
Red
huge.
Rider. Tom Cochran
Tom
was Red
Cochran,
Rider,
yes.
and then solo.
Lunatic Fringe.
Look at the black belt on fucking Drunk over
I can
here.
hold my own a little bit. Wait, here's this song. Let's hear this.
They're still around too, Toronto. They just
Same drum sound almost. The Denny Carmassi drum sound is almost. It's the same. Did Nevison produce this?
No.
that I don't know. Actually,
think so.
I think
Because
it
it
was-
sounds
like
sonically
it.
the same.
Yeah.
And that could be explain how Nevison
on that
brought
record?
it to them.
It's on Get It on Credit.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
if
Talk
it's
amongst
not-
yourselves.
Or it's on an extended version if you went to...
I'd love to know if Nevison was involved in that, because that would make sense for him to bring it to Heart.
Somebody help us. Somebody look
It sounds exactly like. That's wild. Like that song does nothing
But it wasn't
in
a hit for
America
Look,
or even in Canada, but then Heart does basically the same thing, and it relaunched their career.
can we just-
remember
Here
that saved Heart's career?
Okay, let's go down
That's
this
right.
rabbit hole.
That was the start.
We might have touched on this last time, but Canadian bands that have hits in America with bands that you're familiar with, and you don't realize, oh, the Canadian version is, like you said, Lisa Del Bello having the Gonna Get Close to You. What about...
Steve Smith. I don't know who that is.
We got to mention this. So this is...
What song?
This is the Street Heart
Oh,
album,
yeah, here we go.
Dancing with Danger, with the song Dancing with Danger. And you
Which Ace
just saw
did
Ace Frehley
on the
other night.
second
Oh, wow.
record.
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Covered
know
by
that.
Ace Frehley. And then this is a sort of like a compilation Street Heart record, I think after the band had broken up. This one's called Buried Treasure, and track 1, Hot Cherie, written by Street
Danny
Heart.
Spanos.
Danny Spanos.
Or Hard
Not
Line.
written by Danny
Both.
Spanos.
Both versions,
And
but
not
this is the
written by
original version.
Hardline, but written by Street Heart.
So Hot Cherie, which Spanos and Hardline did,
Yes.
Was a Street Heart song,
originally a Street Heart song.
There it is, on this album.
And does that sound the same, just like What About Love? Pretty much? Do you know
Kinda.
that version?
You might want to
Well,
look it up.
the Hardline version's way more like a amped up kind of hair rock kind of version, isn't it?
I mean,
whoops, that's, don't you know.
Hot Cherie was not a massive hit in any version in America, but if people know it, they would
lot of
know
people
either
know the
Hardline
the Spanos
or
version might be closer to Street Heart in a more pop sense, but yeah.
Wow, wild. Wow, this
But
is
it was a very
incredible.
popular song in Canada, the Street Heart version.
All right, let's get what do we got here?
There's Street Heart, Hot Cherie.
Hot Cherie. Amazing.
This doesn't.
That's the original. This is way more faster.
Yeah, it's way quicker.
Jeff Neal on guitar.
This is you're getting me hot, Cherie. This is it.
Kenny Shield on vocal.
Doesn't sound at all like it.
Produced by Spencer Propper.
Oh, now I hear what you're. Now I'm hearing the verse.
Is that a
The
dude
riff
or a
is
chick?
different though.
Is that a guy or a girl?
That's Kenny Shield.
That's a dude. Wow.
Nick Gilder.
That sounds like a girl.
The chorus should be coming any second.
Coming right now.
Don't bore us.
we go,
Get
here
to the chorus.
Here it is.
You're making me hot.
Oh, it's way faster.
Yeah, it's way better.
And it's a totally different riff in the verses.
There you go. Yeah, weird, right?
Oh, that's it. That's that. See, now What About Love sounded exact.
Yeah.
That
They
took me a
took it
second to
somewhere
even
else, yeah.
realize that that's what it was.
Dancing with Danger was a little bit different too, because the guy has way more range than how Ace was doing it. But
Here's Mike in Michigan joining us now. Mike,
what are your thoughts on Hardline?
Hey guys, I would say how you do, but I'm afraid Sebastian will brain me.
yeah, you're gonna get it right.
Doing.
You're gonna get taken
Mike
on the
in
chin
Michigan?
if you say that today. Mike, what's your question?
Right across the border. I mean, when I was in Detroit, the drinking age in Canada was 19, and in Michigan it was 21. So it's like you do the math.
Started my career.
In Windsor, they used to have this. I don't know if they still make it or not. This malt liquor called Bredor.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a French-
Bredor.
That's a French thing, isn't it?
I
Bredor?
love
Yeah.
Bredor.
It's essentially a can of alcohol with foam on top of it. It's really
Wow.
all Bredor was. But as a caller earlier, I was very fortunate, and we got a lot of spillover of music into Detroit. And an artist that I just love, and I got to see her. I don't know if any of you guys ever played in Detroit at Harpo's.
I did
love Harpo's.
about 2 months ago I played there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, did you? Okay, it's
Great
been a
neighborhood.
great rock venue. And that is Sass Jordan.
Oh,
Of course,
yeah.
yeah. Fitz has recorded with Sass before.
Really?
I toured with Sass.
I mean-
it's funny because I toured with Sass, and her drummer on his very first tour was Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins, Tishy played with
Right.
Sass Jordan.
Yeah.
And also, so Sass Jordan had a semi-hit with a song called High Road Easy. I remember that here in America.
Make You a Believer.
Make You a Believer.
Make You a-
And she still can sing and do.
Oh, yeah.
She's still
she's phenomenal.
because there was a while, like not too long ago, one of the reasons why Tishy left Whitesnake because he was going to do a band with her. He was completely convinced
They were
that
called Sun.
Yes.
Sun,
just Sun,
S-U-n, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I saw them at Vamped here even.
Yeah,
Wow.
they were that way. They
Great.
came through
Sass,
town,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Sass
She's
quite a bit.
immensely
You guys, let's have a cheers to Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, always.
for sure.
Taylor, yeah.
Sass Jordan gave him his start, I believe,
right.
And then Alanis, I think, after
Okay.
Sass, right?
Taylor walks up to me at Mates one time. He was jamming with Chevy Metal or something next door, and he comes over. Hey, I'm Taylor. I go. We toured together 100 years ago, and he sort of looked at me like, "What?" It was Sass Jordan. He goes, "Well, that was my first tour." He goes, "Slash, this guy was on the road with me on our first tour." He was so blown away. He kept coming back. Was your brother in the band? I go, "Yeah, my brother's in it." Oh, I remember. You know, it's like very funny. And then he got up and sang Night Train with us.
Oh my God!
There's a picture of us, and I posted Slash featuring Taylor Hawkins and the Conspirators, and people were like, "Well, what happened to Miles?" I go, "Yeah, okay." We replaced Miles with the drummer from the Foo Fighters.
And Stevie Salas, who I played with Sass Jordan for a long time, who I loved the records. Stevie made a record as a solo artist on Island called Color Code that I liked a lot. But so I used to go see Sass Jordan back in the day. I saw her play with Taylor, with Tishy, and then Tishy and her did that thing, Son. And
Here's even a deeper Sebastian's shorts, his Van Halen shorts. Van Halen wanted her in the band.
I had heard
I remember hearing that.
Post Days.
and Patty Smythe.
Van Halen wanted me in the band too, but Ray Daniels said they couldn't have anybody that smoked weed. But Ray Daniels used to smoke weed with me.
Ray Daniels. He was a pot
Dude,
dealer.
what are you, a spy?
Ray Daniels used to sell
like,
weed.
Are you like I can't be in Van Halen because I smoke weed? Where do you think I learned how to smoke weed? Could it have been at Van Halen or no?
And by the way, when was Van Halen known for clean living?
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I went to see Van Halen at Maple Leaf Gardens, there was literally a cloud
Of course, yeah.
in the arena. And my seats were so crappy, I was like above the clouds going, why is there a cloud in a building? I found out pretty quick.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man, this is too much. All right, let's get...
Did you play Maple Leaf Gardens?
No.
Dude, I played once.
You did not.
I opened for
God's sake.
Veruca Salt and Bush.
Oh, great.
That's the most 90s sentence I could say.
I would have given anything to play there.
Here's Dean.
I've also never played Massey Hall.
I never played Massey.
Dean in Winnipeg. Dean, go ahead.
All right, Winnipeg.
Played the
Hey,
Sky
how
Dome,
you
though.
guys doing? Brent, long time no see, buddy.
What's up, Dean?
Oh, you know this guy?
John Taylor.
Don't you always know every?
Yeah, I'm from the same neighborhood.
I know it.
Brent.
Look, I know every Winnipegger.
Apparently.
You know
Dean's-
Burton Cummings?
I do. Dean's address is no, just kidding.
Dean, what's your band?
Hey, I just wanted to mention Kick-Axe. Of course.
Oh,
Brent,
yeah,
here we go.
yeah,
Guys
yeah.
know
On the Road to
Kick-Axe.
Rock.
And, Sebastian, you know Kick-Axe as well.
Yeah.
And,
Ed, were you
know,
ever
I
familiar
only
with
had a short
Kick-Axe
run,
before
you
we
know,
all started hanging
84
around?
to 87. Because
I just remember the singer played live with no shoes and
no
no
shoes and
socks,
barefoot,
bare feet.
yeah.
I'm like,
George
dude,
Kristen. George
you're
Kristen.
gonna hurt your
They were on the
feet.
Judas,
Who was?
Priest,
yeah,
yeah,
they
they played
Judas
with
Priest tour in '84, had their big chance, and then of course by
Defenders,
'87
yeah.
they were pretty much done.
But was it
And,
Defenders or Screamin' that they were out on? 84?
It was probably Defenders.
On the road
They had,
to rock.
they had a big video, if I remember.
Fighterina!
Early on, they had a very elaborately
Yeah, on
produced
the road
video.
to rock.
On the Road to Rock.
And they had like this robot kicker.
Because the album was called Vices, and it had like a big vice on
Yeah, it had
it,
a bit
too.
like a
right?
robot.
Vice,
Yeah, I remember that.
Why that's
And,
They're on the road to. They're on the road to.
Da-da-da-da.
Also from Regina, Saskatchewan.
But George Kristen, the singer, was from
Minneapolis.
Milwaukee.
Was he really?
He was American, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dean, you don't have a chance. You get
I
rolled
partied
right
with,
over by
I
4 idiots.
partied, by the way, Eddie,
did it,
I
yeah.
partied with Kick-Axe at Rock and Roll Heaven.
Oh, of course you
Of
did.
course, when somebody calls in the band, ask if Sebastian didn't party with them.
But I totally did, though.
Dean, are you good? You got anything else, Dean?
Hey, just wanted to do one other mention. Yeah, I partied with Sebastian many times over the last 20 years.
You
Come
partied with
on.
Sebastian.
I partied with this guy on the phone.
No, Brandon, New York, Regina. But anyways, I saw Carol Pope and Rough Trade and the El Macombo in Toronto a few weeks ago, and she's still great at 75 years old.
That's incredible, man.
Who?
Carol Pope.
Carol
Oh,
Pope.
my goodness.
At the El Macombo, which is now open again.
That's
Yes.
great.
All right. Yeah, Eddie. Thank you, Dean. Eddie Kramer was working in there at one point, getting that going again. That apparently.
That's where I bought a ticket to see Hanoi Rocks in December '84. I bought the ticket.
They didn't make
And
it. Yeah.
Razzle died, and they couldn't come, and that was like 3 days before.
He died like
residency.
literally
Yes.
just before that. Wow.
Yeah. Aaron in British Columbia. Aaron, go ahead.
Where in British Columbia, Aaron?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Canada.
Where are you at, Aaron?
In Kelowna, British Columbia.
Kelowna.
Kelowna.
I got
Beautiful.
family up there. Love it.
Beautiful.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, typical nursing a hangover because of the Victoria Day long weekend.
Yeah, I bet.
So you partied with everyone.
Did you party with Sebastian with you last night?
Well, it's funny because I did party with Sebastian in Rockville.
Is this like an intervention now?
You guys,
This is an intervention. Hot Rocks in Brampton.
I used to work at Hot Rock, so I got to party with all of them.
Oh my God.
And then I get dude, you guys are playing up here in, right by me in Grand Forks, I think, in Austin.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're playing. We're up there.
Oh, there's two dates?
Yeah, in the summer.
Oh,
yeah.
man,
July.
today's the day you should be promoting them.
That's the
God,
idea.
I gotta say, I'm playing Indianapolis on Friday night with Kings of Chaos at the Indy 500.
Way cool.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Warren D. Martini on guitar.
He's like a unicorn now. Nobody sees Warren anymore.
Oh, he sees me.
He's like Sasquatch.
Jack Blades from Night Ranger. And guess what I've been rehearsing? High enough. I'm going to sing the Tommy Shaw part with. I've been practicing it every day.
So Jack's playing bass and
yeah,
singing?
Yeah, and I'm going to sing
Who's
that with
playing drums?
Matt Sorum
Okay.
and Lita Ford.
Oh, cool.
We might do the song "Dress to Kill."
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
I don't know if that's for sure yet. And also Gilby Clark, John Waite.
Oh,
John
gonna be
Waite.
singing. Yeah.
Still, I hear can still sing great.
He's great.
So Indianapolis, I know you're not in Canada, but come see us Friday night, Indy 500.
But if you're in Canada, you should come to Indianapolis.
So wait, so hold on, Aaron, real quick. Did you want to say something that you got before I let you go?
Oh, I mean, I C&E Grandstand. I know Sebastian, you performed there a couple times.
I partied there.
But you know what? C&E Grandstand. I saw you there with Bon Jovi. But you know the I was gonna say Trooper. I mean, they go a long way, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Raise a Little Hell.
Another great band.
Who?
Harem Scarum was another great band.
Harem
Yeah,
Scarum.
yeah.
The drummer sang in Jakey Lee's
They
band.
used to open for Kid Wicked, and their band was called Blind Vengeance.
That's a very serious name.
Aaron, I got to run. I got to get to a break here. But before I take this break, and we'll come back. We'll have a few more minutes. I want to make sure before we get cut at the end of the show, everybody gets their plugs in for what they got coming up.
Yeah.
So there's Toque stuff, and then we'll start with you, Brent. What do you have?
Well, we have this week.
We got Preachers Fest in
Actually,
Nashville,
we need to go, Eddie, right after this to
I know.
rehearsal. Todd and I have rehearsals with Bruce Kulick and Zach Throne for Creatures Fest in Nashville, which
Ace is going to be there. Peter Criss is going to be there. Vinnie Vincent's going to be
Wow.
there, supposedly.
And Peter Criss. It's all surviving former members
Exactly,
of Kiss.
yeah.
you should.
That's
Well, you're
totally
busy, but
I can't believe you're not
otherwise
going.
you should come out.
Nobody can believe Sebastian's not going or I'm not going.
I
He's
know,
got a
it's
gig.
I got a party tonight to go to.
If anybody has not partied with Sebastian Bach,
So you're doing that, and you're doing Revenge, right?
Yeah.
Because I know
Well,
I
we-
just had Bruce on last week because Revenge was 30, so we talked about
we're doing
it.
a bunch of
album,
stuff, but
yes.
yeah, we want to make sure we plug that. I'm trying to figure out which Toque. We do have a bunch of Toque Canadian dates during July and the summer. And
Well, Canada Day, which is July
Canada
the
Day,
1st,
yeah.
we do have a show up.
Dauphin, Manitoba.
Yeah. So
And do you think? And I of course, Brent and Todd are best known for being the rhythm section for Slash with Miles and the Conspirators. I know Slash is back in GNR land again, but man, I love the latest record 4.
Thank you.
And is there a chance that you'll be able to get another run in for that record? Have you heard
It'll
around
be
Slash's schedule
in the new year. We'll get around
Next
to
year,
it again.
maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's so funny how how it's even these Toque dates. These are dates that we've been carrying around since 2020 into 21, and then now, boom, 2020. We can finally go do these dates. So GNR is dealing with the same stuff.
Right.
So hopefully they can get this European and Australian or whatever the hell they got going on.
Yeah. All right. And Baz, you're playing Fremont Street.
Fremont
No
Street,
way.
Las Vegas,
July, right?
July 23rd.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I love playing there.
It's a free show, right? People just
yeah.
show up. It's right
The
out on the
last
street.
time we played there, it was like the whole city was there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I was like, wow. So I really look forward to that.
You said you won't
then-
be wearing leather pants that night.
I don't wear leather pants anymore. That's climate change has taken that out of my wardrobe.
he's got his Vegas
But
shoes
July
on now.
in Vegas, you're going to be wearing your Van Halen shorts on
but I
stage.
talked to Glenn Hughes about this. I go, dude. He goes, He goes, I'm dying. Like when you play on stage and you got to sing, and it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
It is not fun.
But the best
and
part
it's
of it-
not easy. And Glenn Hughes is way older than I am, and he's like, I can't wear that stuff. He's like, and we're like, we tell clothing designers it's too hot.
Yeah, it has to breathe.
You know?
But the best part is you'll get some Taco Bell and go home right after the show.
I can't eat Taco Bell. God.
Well, my important part is you get to go home. I'm saying.
I would
So, but you're doing that. Is there anything else you have lined up? As
I have
King
a
of the
lot.
Chaos
I have
show?
a lot of things behind the scenes that are being queued up that I can't really talk about yet. But
Don't you have a new
it's gonna be a
record coming?
very
Don't you have a new
busy.
record?
Yeah, don't you have a new
that
record?
would be great. that would be really great.
It's like the fifth time he's been on saying
when
that.
can
having
we
to
talk about
deflect
the new
that,
record?
you know?
I don't know. I gotta find a bass player.
I was going to say, Todd, what would you know about the new record?
I don't.
It's
Anyways,
actually what I've heard of it is incredible.
Yeah,
You haven't heard anything.
I may have heard something from it too.
You may hear it after this show.
Whoa, flood.
Anyways, so here's a band called
Gatto.
Gatto. I changed the subject.
Greg got it.
Okay, so I love this title.
It's a sealed
Gatto.
album. Sealed.
Yep, never opened.
okay.
Gatto. Indeed is if indeed it is lonely at the top. Who cares? It's lonely at the bottom too. It's kind of a lot of words. Now here is Gatto's band before
yeah,
Gatto.
Flood.
That's
Flood.
Oh my gosh.
Which opened for Kiss at the Victoria Playhouse in
What are they
Toronto.
called?
Flood. And this
FLUDD.
Greg Otovich, this is a white label promo of your record.
Godovitz would trip.
Yeah.
So that's the guy. Gatto
Greg
is
Godovitz.
Godovitz.
Yeah.
And is Gatto.
They were very big in Canada.
All right.
He's a
All right.
legend, yeah.
All right, I got to do one
has a
more
book.
quick break.
Yes.
Let me take this break, and when we
Travels
come
with
back,
my amp.
we'll have about 10 minutes left, and I will get into whatever we have time.
I got one.
A few more calls. We'll hold it till after the break. Sebastian will get one more out of his box. We'll let Fitz take one more out. We'll take a couple more calls, and then we'll get ready to wrap up this incredibly fun Canadian. Happy holidays to our Canadian audience out there on
Our home
Victoria
and
Day.
native land.
Here's my treat to you.
True patriot love in all our sons command.
Different lyrics.
With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. Oh, Canada, we
don't remember the
stand
words. That's
on guard. We stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, I should have stood up for that note.
And Sebastian wonders why he distorts on the air. He can't figure out how he
We just did
distorts.
the anthem.
What is this?
That's you.
Sass Jordan. Oh, it's Sass. Okay.
Did we just say that?
I know. Yeah.
That was-
All right, we only have a few minutes left, and we got a lot to get in because stuff happened during the break.
Right.
The cops are
The
here.
coffee is really kicking in.
Here.
So there was. So first of all, Sebastian,
Okay.
we as we mentioned had Gilmore. We had Gilmore on the show. I had Gilmore on last week. So there is a Triumph tribute record, which
Yes.
real quick I have to correct this, and I forgot to
Featuring
last
Todd
week.
Kerns on bass.
Gilmore on the show said Ann Wilson
That's
was
crazy.
singing a song. It's not. He got it wrong.
Oh.
I heard from Mike Klink after the fact. It's actually Nancy Wilson.
Okay.
That's on the record. So we had the wrong. Gil had the wrong Wilson sisters, but Nancy's actually on the Triumph tribute.
Okay.
Sebastian is also on the Triumph
Yes,
tribute,
and
as is Todd. You're on it as well.
I play bass on it. Yeah.
And
Okay.
as you guys know, I'm an avid listener to Eddie's show, and you drive me crazy when you're like, nobody can sing the Rick Emmett stuff. Nobody
Well,
can
you
do
can.
It. No, well, why do you mention that?
Because Mike Klink. No.
I sing a song. I sing a song on the Triumph
Can you
tribute
say
record.
what? Can you
That
say
is an intro by Rick Emmett, and the rest of the song is Gil.
Well.
I sing both.
You and Joey Belladonna did Rick stuff, but no, the reason why I didn't mention you is because I knew you were on it. After you recorded, Mike Klink called me saying, do you know any other singers that would tackle the Rick stuff? Because everyone wants to do the Gil stuff because it's easier to sing.
It was weird because when we started this record, he wanted me to do Fight the Good Fight, and I learned it. I got it. But then when I recorded a record, he wanted me to do some other songs, and I kept saying, dude, if you want me to do Fight the Good Fight, I'll do it. So
Rick always sounded like he was on helium. That's why.
I talked to Gil about that. Gil was just even back then.
Dude,
but I'm very happy with the song.
The last time we did one of these Canadian things, Mike texted me immediately and said, because we brought up the name My Mother Earth, he goes, you know who produced their first album? Mike Klink. And I know that. But
is Mike Klink Canadian?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, really quick. Rabbit from Toronto.
I remember that band. That was in all the cutout bins when I was a kid. I'm dead serious.
Well, here's some trivia. Dave Applin from Rabbit joined Kid Wicked. And he was my guitar player.
Rabbit spelled with a W, by the way.
That's correct.
Okay.
Because the rabbit with an R sued them.
Now, I just got to do this. Gino Vanelli, Powerful
Gino Vanelli,
People.
The best.
When I was huge.
When we were kids, I kept trying to fool my brother into saying, no, that's Paul Stanley without makeup. And he's like, get out of here. I go, no, seriously, that's Paul Stanley without makeup.
People used to think somebody in the Babies was Paul Stanley without makeup.
That's
too.
right.
There was that story for a while.
I don't care about this because we don't got time. Okay, now I'm going to shut you guys down.
I can't wait.
All you Rush fans out there, this is the rarest Rush record I've ever seen. This is an official Mercury Records release. This is not a bootleg. This is an album called, Eddie, what's the title of this?
Everything your listeners ever wanted to hear by Rush, but you were afraid to play.
And now listen to this. I Googled what the hell this is because I go,
it's a promo, clearly.
Is this real? This was an album put together by Cliff Bernstein. When he signed Rush, he wanted to get Rush on the radio, and this has versions of Rush songs that are edited for radio that you can only get on this fucking album. That's my album.
Like edited shorter, you mean? Like, is that
yes.
It's a radio promo. It's a radio compilation edit.
But I thought this was a fake album. I got this in a record store in Houston with that guy, your friend, our friend.
When we were just there?
No, Houston, Texas.
When we were...
No, with Ace. Who's the guy that does all the shows? Come on.
Justin.
No, the promoter. John in Houston.
John Escamilla.
Yes.
Who's recovering from a stroke. Get well, John.
He took me to Sig Saloon record store, and this was in the rare albums. I go, this isn't real, but it's Mercury Records. All you Rush
that's
fans.
a promo. That's a radio promo. That's
very rare.
The Fly By Night, Making Memories, Bastille Day, Something for Nothing, Lakeside Park, Anthem, Overture, Temple, The Twilight Zone, Best I Can.
Yeah.
So basically, this came out around 76 because this is 2112 back.
And I read some Rush books, and Cliff Bernstein made this
because he worked for the label at the time. So he would have done that.
Try to find this one, Rush fans.
I have a radio promo for Bon Jovi for a song called Silent Night from the second Bon Jovi record, and it's exactly like that. Wow. And it's a picture of John with his finger on his lips, and it says Rock's Best Kept Secret, that when they were trying to break Bon Jovi. And now, of course, look at that in retrospect.
This came out right when 2112 came out.
Yeah, that's what I said. It had to be 2112 back, given that track listing.
Not for sale.
Do we have... Real quick, one more quick one maybe. Here's Don, who is in Regina.
All
I'm
right.
saying that right. Don.
The motherland.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Don.
How's it going there, guys?
Good.
How's it going?
Yeah, great. I saw Baz a couple of times just before the pandemic at the Pump in Casino Regina, and the other guys with Slash in Saskatoon. Amazing shows. I'm a big fan.
Right on.
Thank you.
Don, I got like 60 seconds. What'd you want to say?
Okay, I wanted to mention Sheriff.
Oh, yeah. Baby.
When I'm with you.
Yeah. And I get my life for you.
Going up, Mike.
Thank you for singing it in the original key, too.
Sebastian and Todd might want to consider his career in singing. You guys actually can sing.
No fakes.
That's a duo.
He was a great singer. And when I saw them live, he was like, there was nobody I could see that could match that range of vocal, that long note on
Yeah,
one
the
of their
very
hit
ending
songs.
note.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that was in the Guinness Book of World Records
You're
as the
correct.
longest ever note.
It was.
On
yeah.
recording.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Sheriff was Canadian. That's news.
What
to
about
me.
this? So the American connection to them is the 3 members of Heart that were not the original Heart band, not the 80s era with,
Yeah.
Right, DeRozier and those guys, Roger
yes.
Fisher.
Roger
Yeah.
Fisher.
Roger Fisher. Yes. So had a band in the late 80s called Alias.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
I remember them. Yeah.
With Frankie the
with
singer.
Steve
yeah.
DeMarchi on
Oh, Freddie,
guitar
I'm sorry.
and Freddie on, and they had hits too in
Yeah.
America.
I didn't realize
Haunted
that.
Heart
Sheriff-
and
Sheriff
I
Hart.
remember
I need you now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, that was a hit,
Words can say. Yeah.
Kind of a bad English kind of vibe going on.
We got to end. That music means we got to wrap up.
Bye,
This is too
Canada.
much fun. Thank you.
Blame it on Canada.
Thank you, everybody,
Blame
for
Canada.
listening. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a blast here. Thanks to Todd Kerns, Brent Fitz, Sebastian Bach. Thanks to all our Canadian listeners and, of course, all the U.S. listeners as well. I will be live with you in a little over an hour for Music and Talk on Hair Nation, and also live tomorrow back here on Volume at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Chris Angel will be sitting in with me tomorrow, and we'll have some fun with him, and maybe he can make my stomach disappear. I don't know. Let's see what he can do for me. Anyway, thank you all for listening. What are we hearing on the way out? Oh, Triumph,
Lots
of
of
course.
fun.
Triumph,
This
yeah.
is Triumph. Okay, thank you all. See ya.